All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, to the Torah tribes, Yasharala, giving, of course, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh. Bahashima Mashak, one like Yahweh Shah, that's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh. And in the name of the only God, see Yahweh Shah, there's a brother Yasharala.
Servant of Yahweh.
Khan, coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit Pod Yahweh. Bahashima Mashak, one like Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, this video is going to be edifying unto the people. And hey, to the brother to the right of me, of course, always. And Salaki, real quick, we're doing the Friday, basically not Friday night fire or the Sabbath service that we usually do on Friday nights. We're doing it on Thursday night, just to basically switch up things, and also that we may not be able to do it on Friday night, so we're doing it a day in advance. All right, but nevertheless, we still want to keep the same energy, Lord willing, man. Right, the brother to the right of me, of course, also a faithful brother, brother Ahbayah. All right, and he has Instagram as well as YouTube. Check out their pages as his pages as well. Great edification through the Spirit. All right, so all praise to the Most High God. So let's get straight into this, man. Right, let's go to the book. The video is called "The Secrets of Peter." First Peter chapter 1 breakdown. All right, so we're going to break down the first chapter of First Peter. We're going to see how long it takes, man. So wherever how the Spirit goes, we try to go in depthly with things when we go into the breakdowns. Try to take things slow, not just read it, man, like a Christian. Don't just read this Bible like a Edomite. And the Lord Jesus, nah, man. We're going to actually look at it. We're going to look at the text. We're going to look at the words. We're going to pay attention to everything that the Lord has saying, man. Because if you're not doing that, if you're not reading like that, then what are you doing? Right? You're just skipping over words. I don't know what the hell that means. Just keep going. What the hell? Right? What if the Lord is really saying something important? You just skipping over the verse, right? So, these things we have to like diligently, right? So, Salaki, real quick, I'm gonna go to the book, right, of Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. All right, just to kick it off, man. Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth. So the Lord said, blessed is he that readeth. So we have to be reading these epistles, the words of the Lord, right? The law, the prophets, etc., etc. We have to be reading this Bible. That's what the Lord said. He said, blessed is he that readeth. And they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So the time is at hand. So we are blessed when we read. All right. Khan, you got it, King.
To touch on the point, you don't want to just read something and you skip over it and just forget about it. No, when you like one thing I do through the Spirit, if I read something and I don't know what's going into, I write it down or I put it in my notes of questions in a folder. I have questions I have, and I ask brothers, what's this going into, so I can have the correct meaning. Don't just read something and you hop right over it like it never happened, like it's not written. Then someone asks you about it, and now you confound it. You have to get the understanding because this is your heritage. This law Bible is your heritage, so you should want to know. A lot of things, most things that you read. There's Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7, and it reads, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all that getting, get understanding." Man, so we have to get understanding with what we read. Not being as Christians, like Christians, they read something out of context. We read one verse, the verse of the day, and they'll take that verse and run with it, but it's all out of context. But then you have the righteous man. He will read the whole chapter to see why is it saying that. He'll have the whole context. He can break it down precept upon precept because he got the understanding, man. So we have to get the understanding. But come on.
Yep, That's right. That's right. And with certain things, that's why even in the book of Acts, chapter 8, it says, Peter, Salaki, not Peter, Salaki, let me get that count. Right. Book of Acts, chapter 8. I believe it was yeah, So this is the book of Acts, chapter 8, and verse number 29. Yes, Philip. Yep. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, go near and join thyself to this chariot. And Philip ran thither to him, and Salaki heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. So certain things, that's why we're doing these breakdowns, because certain men may be reading First Peter or a certain chapter, and they're like, I don't know what this is going into, right? I don't know what I'm reading. I don't understand it. So that's why we have to do these chapter breakdowns from time to time again, because even this man This man was reading the prophet Isaiah, and Philip was like, "Hey, do you understand what you're reading?" And he said, "How can I except some man should guide me?" So you men that say you can't teach me anything, only the Holy Spirit. Then what about why is this man saying this? How can I accept some man should guide me? So sometimes men have to guide you literally through the scriptures. They have to guide you. They say, all right, you know what that priest is going to? Well, let's get the understanding, right? And that's why we're doing these videos. All right. So without further ado, we can get into it. All right. So it's like, yeah, anything else on that? Yeah, we can get into it now. So First Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. First Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. You got it.
This is the book of First Peter, chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Hamashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia.
Yeah, so Peter, all right. Let's touch on Peter a little bit, just real quick, right? If people don't know, Peter is the stone and the rock of the church. All right. Peter is one of the Lord's favorite spirits, to be honest. Because you have three apostles, because you have 12 apostles. But you always have the elect of the elect of the elect, the chosen of the chosen. You always have the Lord's favorite things. All right. So out of all the people in the world, you have the 12 select men. Those are the 12 apostles. And out of the 12 selected men, you even have men selected out of the 12 selected men, right? Which will be Peter, James, and John. Read about Peter, James, and John a lot in the Gospels, going with Yahushua, right? Literally being the closest to Yahushua. And so within those three men, Peter, James, and John, these are three very, very special and very, very three people that's very, very special to the Lord. All right. And the Lord, he loved John. That's his favorite spirit. But the Lord also loves Peter because he set him as a rock of the church. So let's get that real quick. I'm going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 18. All right. It's a book of Matthew, chapter 8. Salaki is Matthew 16. Right. This is a book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 18. And I say also unto thee that thou art Peter. Right. So who is he saying this to? He's saying this to Simon, because Simon is Peter. That's what you read about Simon called Peter, right? It says, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So who's that rock? The rock is Peter, because remember, Peter literally goes back to the word Petros, which means stone. All right, let's get that real quick. What does Peter mean? All right, that Peter etymology. All right. So it is derived from the Greek Petros, right? Masculine from the Greek Petra, the word for rock or stone. So Peter literally means stone or rock. All right. The new name Yahushua gave to the apostle Simon Bar Jonah. All right, and that's true. So that's who Peter is, just in its summary. All right. You had a point or precept on that?
This is book of John, chapter 1, and verse 42. Mm-hmm. And he brought him to Yahushua, and when Yahushua beheld him, he said, Thou art Simon, the son of Jonah. Thou shalt be called Cephas, which is by interpretation a stone. So Yahushua changed his name to a stone because your Lord used Peter as the head of the church. There's a ranking to the church back then when they tell me Yahushua, the same way how there's a rank right now, man. Right, the Lord, he chose Peter to be the head. Then you have certain men coming after that. I want to get that rank. Actually, when you go to Acts, it gives you the rank in order, right? This is because Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. I'm gonna start at verse 13, and it reads, And when they were come in, they went up into an upper room where abode both Peter. And then it said, and James, again, is given in order. You have Peter and James and John and Andrew, Philip and Thomas, Bartholomew and Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon Zealotes, and Judas the brother of James. Now that's 11 people because Judas Iscariot, he was he betrayed, he was a traitor, he killed himself and stuff like that. But the thing is, there was a ranking order to the church, and Peter, he was the chief apostle, the top apostle, the head of the church, man. You
Right.
know, around that time, I know that the brother going to get into it probably, but with Yahushua started his ministry in like 30 AD, scholars would say. But
Yep. Yep. And that's how you know, hey, we can go into Peter all day. That's like Peter, we can there's hella precepts on Peter, man. That's how special he is to the Lord. You know. I'm just to get this one precept about that too in Acts chapter 12, verse 5. Because Peter was even locked up, right? It says, Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto the Most High for him. See that? So they didn't even cease to pray for Paul, Salaki Peter when he was in the prison, you know. So that just shows you the common or basically the love that the congregation had for Peter, knowing that he was the head, knowing that he was the rock, all right, the foundation of the church. And that's why also another point is Luke chapter 22 verse 31 on down. That's why Satan wanted Peter because he was the rock of the church. He was the foundation. So if he could get Peter, guess what? Everything else is going to be crumbling down, you know, because he held up the church. All right. Now, of course, Yahushua is that rock, but he's that rock on top of Yahushua, that first one, if that makes sense. But Khan, we can go back to First Peter, right?
Con,
Khan, can you read verse 1 again?
Con.
Khan.
First Peter chapter 1 and verse 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia.
Yeah, Khan. So who are the strangers scattered throughout these places? Now, a lot of Christians, you go to this verse, they don't even know where the hell this is at. Man. Talking about Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, Bithynia. A lot of people think that Asia is talking about China or somewhere, bruh. Talking about like it's Japan. It's not talking about Japan, bruh. You know, that's where you lack in error. That's where Luke chapter 13, verse 3, you do error not knowing Salakia. That's not it, right? Matthew chapter 22, right? Or Salaki, in the book of Matthew, Yahweh shall say, you do err, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of the Most High. So that's why you have to search out diligently things. You can't study the Bible and not go into the actual language, not go into the original tongues, or not even look at the geography or think to go to the etymology or where things are located at, stuff like that. You have to go into this to actually get the full understanding. All right, and that's what Christians don't do. All right, they just try to isolate scriptures, listen to their pastor, and that's it, right? Right. But these places are real places on the earth. Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. These are talking about basically Greco-Roman provinces. All right, so let's look up Galatia, for example, right? Galatia. All right, Galatia. Salaki. Galatia was an ancient area in the highlands of central Anatolia, roughly corresponding to the provinces of Ankara, right, in modern Turkey. All right, so basically, this Galatia, that's where you get the term Galatians from. All right, that's where you get the term Galatians from, Galatia, because it was the actual place. Bithynia, you see that Pontus, Galatia. This little area right here was called Asia. All right, Asia Minor. And really, at a certain point in time, Turkey was called Asia Minor. All right, this place called modern day Turkey. All right, but Galatia, Bithynia, Pontus, Cappadocia, all of these places are are real places, and they're actually found within the map. Right, Galatia, uh, per, Pergamos, right, Pontus, Cappadocia, stuff like that. Right, so these places actually exist. So when Peter's addressing this, is who he's addressing. He's addressing the strangers scattered throughout these places, these provinces. Okay. So what does that mean? All right. Who is scattered in the earth? Let's see. All right. I'm gonna go to the book of James, chapter 1, verse 1. Quick cut, man. Right. Who are scattered throughout these places and who are called strangers within these places? All right. Let's go to James chapter 1, verse 1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shah Mahashiach, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greeting. So the 12 tribes are the ones that scattered abroad. They're the ones that scattered. All right. Not every nation is scattered. The 12 tribes are scattered, all right, into every nation. I'm gonna get a precept on them being called strangers, all right, and we're called strangers as well. But I know a brother also wants to get some precepts, right? This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 5. All right, Ezekiel chapter 14 verse 5. It says that I make take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they all are estranged from me through their idols. That's why when you go to the book of First Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2, let me get that real quick just to link up with that. All right. That's why you got to read this Old Testament, bro. You got to read this Old Testament. Because if you don't, then you're gonna go to the you're gonna come to the New Testament. You're not gonna know what the heck's going on. All right, this is the book of First Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. So that's where you get that from, because that's how the children of Israel are strangers to the Lord. They were estranged, meaning that they became strangers to the Lord because of their idolatry, because they were into worshiping other idols except for the Lord. Therefore, we became strange to the Lord, and the Lord didn't know us. He wasn't dealing with us. He cast us off because we didn't want to deal with the Lord. We wanted to go after our own idols, right? And that's why in First Corinthians chapter 12, even Paul, who was an apostle and a minister to the Gentiles, these Gentiles are actually strangers, right? The same thing, right? Strangers, Gentiles, same thing. That are actually Israelites, Israelite Gentiles, because why? Because they're estranged from the Lord because of their idols, and that's what Paul is addressing right here. Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. That's how you became Gentiles. That's how you became strangers, right? And we're scattered throughout all nations because that goes back to the curses, right? But Khan, you got it, King.
Come on, I'm gonna get a few precepts to link up with the brother. This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now, when it says out of every nation, because you had Israelite men living in all these different nations. And when you read on down, it tells you that you had Israelites and Parthians, Medes, Elamites, Mesopotamia. You have Israelites scattered abroad through all these different places, man. Don't think that all Israelites just lived in Israel. No. So you have Israelite again scattered abroad, referring to James 1 and 1. And there's different ways that you can be a stranger. You can be a stranger by having no place to stay, and you're always a pilgrim. That's why when you read to First Peter chapter 2, I'm gonna start at verse 9, it reads, But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, which links up with Deuteronomy 14, verse 2. Israel is that peculiar people. It reads, That you should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy, but disappoint. Verse 11, Dearly beloved, I beseech you, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul. So even Peter called the Israelites, strangers, man, because there's different ways you can be a stranger. Even you not being in the truth, you're a stranger to the truth, man. Let me get this real quick in Ephesians. This book of Ephesians, chapter 2. I'm going to get 11 real quick. So, like, yeah. This book of Ephesians, chapter 2, and verse 11. And it reads, Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Why are these Israelites Gentiles in the flesh? Because they follow after the ways of the Gentiles. Even in Ezekiel 25 and verse 8, these other nations like Moab and Edom, they called us heathen, man. Because why? We did after their works, right? Who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Christ. So when you were without Christ, when you're not in the truth, right? It reads, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. So when you're in the world, you're a stranger, man. I'm gonna get one more precept that proves that you're there's many ways you can be a stranger. There's even read Sirach chapter 29 and verse 24 on down. Read Sirach chapter 41 and verse 6 on down, man. It tells you in Sirach 41 and verse 6 that people who are begotten by ungodly parents, they're going to complain, and stuff like that. And those people, they're being strangers. We get one more precept though in Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35, just to get proof to show you that Israel are strangers. It's Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35, and it reads, "And if thy brother be waxen poor, and fallen and decay with thee, then shalt thou relieve him, yeah, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee." You see that? So even the Israelites are called strangers in this thing, man. So don't let that term stranger or scatter abroad get you hemmed up thinking that it's talking about other nations. That's not the case. These are talking to Israelites. Peter was always for his people. Peter had to go through hell for his people. If Yahweh came for the sheep of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, what do you think Peter was doing, man? He's writing to the Israelites. Kind
Right, Khan. That's right. Exactly right. That's what I have the brother saying. Right. The Lord told Peter, right, and the other apostles, Yahweh Shah literally said out of his own mouth, Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. When did that ever change? Right? When did the Lord ever say, actually, you know what? I was lying when I said that. The Lord is not a man that he should lie, man. Neither is he the son of man that he should repent. All right. So literally, why would the Lord say something that he doesn't really mean, man? That would mean that the Lord is double-minded. And the Lord said in James chapter 1, verse 8, that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So that basically you saying that the Lord is unstable. So now you're really going off, man. Are you saying that the Lord is unstable and that he's double-minded? The hell? The Lord is the creator of the heavens and earth. So literally, it doesn't make any sense, right? I'm gonna get the precept, man. All right, this is the book of Psalms. Let me see. This is what I want. Psalms. Oh yeah, con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119. Right, verse number 176. It says, "I have gone astray like a lost sheep." That's why the Lord refers to us as lost sheep, because we're strangers to the Lord. All right. It says what? Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandments. So we have gone astray like lost sheep, right? The Lord said that we have gone from mountain to hill. Just like how the brother said, we're sojourners, man, right? And Peter actually touches on that in this chapter, all right? But let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. So we have been lost sheep to the Lord. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. So we have forgotten our resting place, man. Right? So we're strangers to the Lord. All right. And I'm going to even get this in the book of John, chapter 12. All right. Real quick, to prove that we're called after the names of the other nations. Because even when you read on in Acts chapter 2, verse 5 on down, it says that there's Jews coming from every nation under heaven to keep the Pentecost, because that's one of the laws of the Lord that they have to keep. All right, that's one of the three most vital high holy days that you have to appear at Jerusalem 3 times in a year. All right, as it states in the book of Exodus as well as Deuteronomy. So that's why they were coming to Pentecost to keep it. But they came from Elam. They came from all these different countries of the world. All right, meaning that they were called after these nations. If you're born in China, you're going to be called Chinese. If you're born in America, you're going to be called an American. It's just simple fact. But does that literally mean that you come from that line? Right? It doesn't. You have Israelites born in Europe, they're going to be called European, but are they actually damn Edomite? They're not. Right? So that's why that's where that confusion comes in at. But I'm going to get this in the book of John, chapter 12, real quick. I'm going to get this in the book of John, chapter 12 and verse 20. So I'm going to share my screen when I read this because it's very vital. All right. And it shows you that even us Israelites are called after the names of these other nations. All right. I mean, there's plenty of precepts on this, but here's one precept. This is a book of John, chapter 12, verse 20. And there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast. Certain Greeks. Right. Now, who would these Greeks be? Now, when you look up the word Greeks, let's see what pops up. All right. Let's see what pops up. It's talking about these men. It, you know, is it talking about damn Plato and Socrates and Damn, Caesar Augustus. Who is it talking? Who are these Greeks talking about, bro? Right, certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast. What feast is this? This feast is going into the Passover. All right, because this is around John chapter 12. So this is around the Passover. It says the same came to Philip, which was of Bethsaida of Galilee, and desired him, saying, Sir, we would see Yahweh. All right. So these are certain Greeks that came up to worship at the feast. They're coming to keep the feast day. Now let's see what the law says about actual Greeks or actual ethnic heathen, actual heathen keeping the laws. It's like keeping Passover. Let's see what it says. All right, let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 12. All right. Let's see if they can keep it or not. All right. Let's see if they can keep it or not. If the heathen kind of came up, let's say heathen kind of came up to the Atlanta Passover. All right. Let's see, you know, the brother's like, hey, let's go to the law. Let's see what the law says. Right. Let's look at I don't know. Hey, Ahbayah, what says thou? You gonna let him in? Why? But because let's read this. This book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 42. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. Who is the them? Right? The them is talking about Israel. All right. Unto them, it says, for the Lord bringing them out of the land of Egypt. It's not any other nation. The Lord didn't bring all nations out of Egypt, first of all. This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generation. So it's for us to keep. All right. Anyways, let's keep reading. Verse 43. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. You see that? There shall no stranger eat thereof. And that word stranger is going into an actual heathen. You see that? It's going into the actual heathen. Because in verse 48, this stranger, and when the stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let them come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. That stranger is going into an Israelite. When you go up to this verse in verse 43, that stranger is going into a heathen. So you have two types of strangers, all right? And that also goes back to verse 1. But when we go back to John, all right, chapter 12, that's why I said certain Greeks, because remember, we were in Greece. Therefore we were called Greeks, but we wanted to keep the Passover. Just because you're a Greek, that's why Paul says, what, in Galatians chapter 3, there is not a Jew nor a Greek. No matter if you were born in the land, you can still keep the Passover. You can still come and serve the Lord, man. The Lord Yahweh, he died for the nation of Israel, not just for the Jews, right? That's what Paul has taught in many of his epistles, man. But it says, and there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast. These Greeks are actually talking about Israelites, because there's no way in the hell Jews, the Jews that literally even hated their own people is going to let some damn Edomites come and worship at the feast, man. There's no way, right? But Khan, you got it, King. All right.
Yeah, that's been up on the tables. Like even when you to touch on the law as well, back to Acts chapter 2, the brother said 3 times a year you have to go to Jerusalem and pay before the Lord, man. Passover, Pentecost, and Feast of Tabernacles. So again, those people from all those different nations has to be Israelites. Like the brother was saying, no heathen can keep the Passover as at this moment, man. They can't keep the Passover.
Right.
So those have to be Israelites. But that's just disappointing though, but that's all.
Yeah, Khan, that's right. That's right. Yep. But yeah, Khan, yep, we can go back to that.
Just look at 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 2. Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahweh Mashiach. Grace be unto you and peace be multiplied. Verse 3.
Salaki. Khan, I want to touch on that real quick because it says elect. Who is the elect of the Lord? The elect of the Lord will be talking about Israel. All right, quick precept on that. I just book of Isaiah. Who is the elect of the Lord? All right. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 45. in verse number 4. It says, "For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect." So Israel is the Lord's elect. "I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me." So Israel is the Lord's elect. So when we go back to this, that's how we know of a surety that Peter's talking to the Israelites, because he said, "Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling under the blood of Yahweh Shema HaShiach." And really, if you wanted to break this line upon line, it'll all be pointing to the fact that Peter is talking to Israelites. Because who sprinkled the blood, right? Who did Yahweh shed his blood for? You know, all these things, it all links up to Israel. All right, there's Luke chapter 1, verse 68, Acts chapter 5, verse 29 on down, etc., etc. Right, but Khan, you got a king.
Conjugate, preachable, not yet. All throughout the scriptures, you can the Lord shows you that the Lord has a chosen people. From all the way from Genesis to now, the Lord always had a chosen people. Like the brother pulled out, Isaiah 44 and verse 1 is an amazing precept, right? But I want to get this real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8, and it reads, "When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance." You see that? So basically, the Most High, he let everybody do whatever they got to do. They got their inheritance. They have their own heritage. But then guess what? He saw the Israelites. He said, "Look, these are my people. This is my inheritance, and it is what it is." So the Lord has a chosen people. The same way you have a chosen pair of shoes. You may have a chosen or a favorite video game. You may have a chosen dish you like to eat or cook and stuff like that. I don't know. Chosen. I don't know what people be choosing nowadays, man. Madness. A wife that you love the most. Honestly, I don't know. Guess what? You always have a chosen, like the brother even said, a chosen of the chosen too. So the Lord always deal with election, simplification, and choosing this thing. And Israel has always been his chosen people. You had Adam, which is the son of God, as Luke 3:38. Then you had the Hebrews. Abraham was called a Hebrew, Genesis 14 and verse 13. Then you have the Hebrew Israelites. After Israel, stuff, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his name was changed to Israel. Israel has sons and daughters and stuff like that. Those are Israelites. Those are God's chosen people, man. But come.
Yeah, Khan, that's right. That's right. So yep, you always had that that chosen line, man. And the Lord already knew that Yahweh Shah is going to shed his blood for Israel. He already knew that before the foundation. That's why it says elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father. Because if you're the elect of the Lord, not even in terms of nationality, like nationwide, because we always talk about this, you have the elect within the elect, right? You have the elect of the elect. Because, yeah, you do have the elect nation, the chosen people of all the other people that are upon the face of the earth. That's, plenty of precepts. Deuteronomy 7 and 6, Deuteronomy 14 and 2, 1 Peter 2 and 9, Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 14 on down. You do have the chosen people, but who is chosen amongst the chosen people? That's talking about the elect. All right. That's talking about the 1/3, et cetera, et cetera. And even within the 1/3, you got the what? The 144,000. And even within the 144,000, you have a few select spirits that are even higher, you know? So it's really, if you're chosen, let's say, you're the elect. Let's say you are part of the 144,000. That means you're elect according to the foreknowledge. What does foreknowledge mean? Right? Let's look up that word, man. Foreknowledge.
Foreknowledge.
Right? It says awareness of something before it happens or exists. So the Lord has foreknowledge. If the Most High has foreknowledge, wouldn't that mean by default that there is no free will? Because if the Lord already knows what you're about to do, that means you don't have a choice, right? Now it may seem like you have a choice on the physical level. I have the choice to pick this up. I have the choice to close this Bible, open it back up. I have a choice to throw this lotion across the damn my damn room. I have a choice to do these things in my head. But the thing is, the Lord already predestined that to happen. All right. So it says what? For see that they saying foreknowledge without ordination. That's off. It doesn't make any sense. How can you have not foreknowledge of something? I know something is going to happen of a surety. That means that the Lord already planned it out, man. Let's say you have a plan. I'm gonna go to damn wherever. I'm gonna go bowling on Friday, man. I'm gonna go bowling on Friday. Let's say I'm gonna go bowling on Friday at 3 p.m. You already have foreknowledge of that. And if you execute it, it's gonna happen. Right? You already planned it out. That's why you have foreknowledge of it. Just to make it, but of course the Most High, of course, his foreknowledge is above that. But nevertheless, the Lord has foreknowledge. Awareness is something before it happens or exists. The Lord even has foreknowledge about who is going to be in the kingdom and what the kingdom is even going to be like. Because I'm going to get this quick precept passage of the book. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 64, and verse number 4. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, O God, beside thee, what he had prepared for him that waited for him. So I have not seen. Ahbayah doesn't know. I don't know. Nobody here knows. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, oh God, besides thee, right? What he prepared for him that waited for him. Besides the Lord. Only the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, knows what the kingdom is going to be like, what exactly is going to be in the kingdom, etc. How does he know that? Because he already planned everything out to lead up to the kingdom, and he already has created the kingdom. Therefore, he has already created the end of the movie. If you got ears to hear, But Khan, you got it, King.
Yeah, predestination, foreknowledge, that's all in the book and in the Bible, man. Yep. The Lord already created everything, and you're just playing your role. Everything's already scripted out, written down, set in stone, and really, you're just playing it out, man. Like this right here, the brother Yasharala, he was given the role to be Yasharala. His mannerisms, everything that he do, every action that he does, he's on point with it because the Lord is making him do that, man. My role is to be Ahbayah. That's serving of your house. That's my role. And whatever I'm doing, the Lord predestined for me to do that. Whether, I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Everything is predestinated, man. I want to get this real quick. In Romans chapter 8, in verse 29, and it reads, for whom he did foreknow. So the Lord foreknow all these spirits, man. Even in Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5, the Lord knew Jeremiah before he was when he was forming the belly, before he was forming the belly.
Yep.
I'm going real quick. It reads, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. You see that? So predestination is in the Bible. And another place you can take it to, if you want to take it there, Revelation chapter 7 says, before all hell break loose, the elect has to be sealed. So there's already people who's elected to get the kingdom of heaven already. And then they didn't do nothing. They're not keeping the commandments right now. All they're doing is walking to and fro. So they have to be sealed to get the kingdom of heaven, meaning the Lord has to wake them up. And that's predestination, man. Because the Lord said this. Let me get this real quick. That links up with this in John 15 and verse 16. And it reads, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whosoever you shall ask, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. So if you really think about it, on a real fold, you never chose the Lord. Yeah, man, I chose the Lord. I clicked on the video. No, you did not choose the Lord. The Lord had you watch conspiracy videos for 2 hours, and you fell asleep. Then you woke up to a YouTube on to someone speaking about the truth, man. Now all of a sudden you're an Israelite because the Lord chose you. The Lord's not choosing everybody. So the Lord has to predestinate and choose you from the foundation of earth for you to even bear witness with this truth and to get the kingdom of heaven, man. I want to get 2 more real quick. This is Jeremiah. All right, Jeremiah chapter 1. This new sword, man. The page is too thin. Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5. All right. And it reads, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So before Jeremiah was even born, he was already predestinated to be a prophet. Everybody's predestinated to be something, whether you be an evangelist, a prophet, a disciple, an apostle, even in the world. You might be predestinated to be what? NBA All-Star basketball player, a musician. You might be what's called predestinated to be a track star, track and field star, man. These people that you see, that's their lot. And guess what? The lot of Jeremiah, his lot, his predestination was what? To be a prophet. That's why right here in 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 32, it reads, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So only the spirit, you can only be a prophet if that's your spirit. You can only be an apostle if that's in your spirit, man. The Lord has to predestinate your spirit to do certain things. Not everybody can be like LeBron James. His spirit was made to be like LeBron James. Not everyone can be like Yasharala, man. Yasharala is Yasharala. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord predestinates everything. That's like I'm gonna get one more. So like one more.
Fine, you got it.
So I'm gonna get Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24, and it reads, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So it says man's goings are of the Lord. So you may think, yeah, I did this, I did that. I met my soulmate. I met my best friend. All praise to the Most High. No, you didn't do that, man. The Lord did that. It's not by chance. You was at a store and you just bumped into you was in the fruit section. You bumped in to your soulmate, man. Now y'all married for the rest of your life. That's not a coincidence. Guess what? That's predestinated, man. Right?
Right.
The Lord had you go to the fruit aisle to look for bananas, some kiwis, probably some plum, peaches, man, or whatever brothers like to eat, some apples. And you just kind of turn around, you bumped, and she dropped all her stuff on the ground. You helped her up, y'all bumped heads and stuff like that. No, the Lord predestinated that, man.
Right.
You got it.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't know, like if you're a carnal, you can't really discern that for real. You can't discern predestination, you know. But if you have some type of spirit, like spirituality in you, and you understand that things are spiritual, that there is a higher power, whether that you call that power the universe or whether you call that damn whatever, that there is predestination, that there is fate, then you ought to be spiritual, man. You have a little spiritualness, even if you're not in this truth. Because even people that's not in this truth, that's elders, they're like, hey, this gotta be predestination, man. It's gotta be predestination. Because it's the things that has transpired in their life, they see that, and that things is just planned out already. They just discern it. If you live long enough, well, of course you do have certain elders that still believe in free will. They still boast in their actions. Yes, because of me. Come on, man. Right there. Come on. You mean you tell me you met your wife, you met your wife at a bus stop, or you met your wife at a train station. What if you didn't wake up that day, man? What if you were then 10 minutes late to the train station? You wouldn't have met her, man. She would have hopped on that train, and then that's it. So the stuff like that, you just have to think about it, man. But it's like I got 3 pieces real quick. This is a book of Song of Solomon, chapter 1 to verse 4. It says, draw me, we will run after thee. So that's why the elect is crying out to the Lord, saying, draw me, we will run after thee. The Lord has to draw you. He has to pick you, man. And that's what the versions are saying. If you got ears to hear, the Lord has 10 versions. All right. That's Matthew chapter 25, verse 1 on down. He has 10 versions. And that number 10 is the number of completion, right? Perfected amount of versions. So if the Lord has a version, guess what? These versions, they don't choose Yahweh. Yahweh chooses them. Just like a king. Woman can't choose the king. Let's see. Don't want him. We don't want the king. Right? What the hell? Woman's not choosing the king. The king chooses the woman, man. So if we are the virgins, Yahweh, he has to choose us. He's gonna walking down a line of virgins. Yeah, you come with me. You come with me, right? That is, that's how the Lord does that. It says, draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We'll be glad and rejoice in thee. We'll be glad and rejoice in the Lord because he chose us, man. Right? We will remember thy love more than wine, the upright love thee. Right? I'm gonna get this real quick in the book of John, chapter 17, and verse number Salakia. 9. I pray for them, I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. So the Father chose certain select spirits to be with Yahushua. All right. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. So if Yahushua is slain before the foundation of the world, meaning the Lord already knew that Yahushua would be slain. Before the foundation of the world, he already knew he was going to be slain. That means that literally everything that led up to that, Adam fallen, right? The fall of man, the sin, right? This, that, and the third, eating of the fruit, right? This, that, and Noah, bro, all of that from Genesis to then Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the New Testament, so-called New Testament, all that stuff. And even after that is all predestinated. So, if that makes sense, man. But Khan, we can go back to that.
First Peter chapter 1 and verse 2. Elect according to the foreknowledge of God, the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead.
God, meaning, according to his abundant mercy, hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua from the dead. Meaning, we are risen with Yahushua. If that makes sense. Yahushua dying and rising up again, he did that in order for us to die, our old man to die, and then rise up again. All right, that makes sense because we are his body. All right, and that is within itself, that's its own video for real. But I'm gonna just get one or two precepts to kind of expound on that. Yahushua dying and rising up again is symbolic for us, our old man dying, and then the new man being risen up again. All right, into a new man and that perfect man. All right, not the old man. But sometimes that old man, like a zombie, will come back to life and try to bring you back to the dead, try to bring you out of this truth, man. All right, that's what this truth is about, to fight that old man. But Yahushua dying and rising again, that is symbolic for us dying and rising up again. That's why it says according to his abundant mercy. It's only according to his mercy, man. That's Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For by grace are you saved through faith, and not that of your own selves. It is the gift of the Most High. It is the Most High's gift for us to have a second chance. That's essentially what it is. It's like you dying and then you coming back to life. You basically was given a second chance. Like you were actually dead at some point in time, and then you came back to life. There's actually accounts of people that, have been through that. All right. So let's go to the book, Salaki, real quick. All right. It's like we are risen with Christ. Like, I'm gonna get that precept. Oh yeah, Con. This is Colossians 3:1. If you then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. Right? Verse 3, for ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in the Most High. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. So Yahushua is our life, man. Because that's 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 14 on down. Right? Let me get that real quick. 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 14 on down. Right? 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 14. For the love of Christ constraineth us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, then we're all dead. So we were all dead in our sins in the world. And that he died for all, meaning all Israelites, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again. So Yahushua did that so we can not live for ourselves, but live for Yahushua. All right. But Khan, you got it, King.
Yeah, when you read that's the spirit was going over there on the call in 1 Corinthians 15, you had men in 1 Corinthians 15, well, really in the church
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Corinth, they was talking about, the resurrection is false, and stuff like that. And then Paul was going into, if the resurrection is false, that means, hey, my labor I'm doing, that's all in vain. My faith is in vain, and your faith is in vain, because if Christ didn't rise and stuff like that, how do you expect to die and come back to life, man? That's in vain. But the thing is, Yahushua, he came on the scene to adopt us back to the Most High God. That's Romans chapter 9, verse 4. The adoption was for us, the Israelites, man. I want to get this real quick too. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and it reads, First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 20, and it reads, "But now is Christ risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, yeah, by Adam came death." Read Romans chapter 5, read Romans chapter 6. Adam, it brought forth death, man.
Khan.
Read, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. That's Yahushua. So you had Adam who came, who brought forth death, but you had Yahushua who brought forth life. And it reads verse 22, "For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ shall be all may be alive." Man, that's what the brother's saying. The Lord what's called begotten us back again into him through a lively hope by resurrecting us from our past sins, man, from the dead. Because we could have easily died in our sins, man. Easily. But now Yahushua came on the scene, being that lamb, that sheep without spot, without blemish. We have a chance to repent. We can really live in this thing, man. Let me get this one more precept. This is the book of Romans, chapter 5, and verse 19. And it reads, "For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners." Again, talking about Adam. Adam disobeyed. Not everybody after Adam is or disobedient, man, and sin. But watch this. It's read, "So by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous." That's Yahushua. Yahushua was obedient. He was perfect. He was righteous. So guess what? He died for our sins. Now through him we can be righteous, man. We can be without fault, without spot and blemish, like it says in Revelation 14. In Romans chapter 8, it tells you, who can lay anything who can lay a charge to the elect, paraphrasing, huh?
All right.
I might as well just get it real quick. I'm right here. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 33, and it reads, "Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifies." You see that? So yeah, you might sin, but guess what? You have that sacrifice, which is Yahushua, to cleanse you from that wickedness and that sin that you did. And now you still found without blot, without blemish, without spot, without blemish. But
Yeah, Khan, that's right. I got this quick precept as well. In 1 Corinthians 15 verse 31. Can you bring this up? It's like
uh,
15:30.
I forgot. You might have to read it.
Okay, Khan. It says, "I protest by your rejoicing, which I have in Mahashiach Yahushua our Lord, I die daily. If after the manner of men I have fought with beasts at Ephesus, what advantage did me if the dead rise not? Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die," man. So Paul was like, man, look, he's like, man, I'm going through all this hell, this tribulation. I ain't fine with beasts at Ephesus. And where's that beast going into? Ungodly men, right? I'm doing all this labor, all this work, like how the brother's saying. What advantage me it be if the dead rise not? Meaning, what profit is there if I'm trying to resurrect the dead? All right. And no, that's not talking about Frankenstein or zombies, Call of Duty zombies, dead rising up again, or World War Z. Brothers know that movie?
Gone.
Okay, a World War Z. All right, it's not talking about World War Z. That's lucky. I'm talking about World War Z. The dead rise not. The dead rising up again. People talking about zombies. It's talking about zombies. It's not talking about zombies. Hey, if you want to be technical, we are zombies, man. Right? But we're not the living dead. We are the dead that came back to life as a better man. Right? So it says, so that's why Paul's like, hey, then let us just eat and drink, for tomorrow we die, man. let's just go back into the world then. Let's just give up. If there was no resurrection of Yahushua, then let's just give up, man. That's what Paul is saying, basically. Just go back into the world, all right? Because there'll be no point. That's how vital and that's how crucial, all right, and important Yahushua dying and resurrecting again. That's why it's so important, because that's why even in the 1 Corinthians 15 and verse Salakia, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 4, it says, and that he was buried and that he rose again the third day according to the scriptures. That's even prophecy that Yahushua had to do that. He had to die. He had to be buried for 3 days, 3 nights, and then be resurrected again, right? For us to come back to life. Because let's go to the book of John, chapter 11 and verse 25. Have it pull it up. Hold it up here. Salakia. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection. Literally, Yahushua said, he is the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? So that's the point. If we if you believe in Yahushua, even if you're in the world, you're dead in the world, when you believe in Yahushua and start to keep these commandments, then you're going to live, because Yahushua is a life. He's the light of the world. He's a resurrection. All right, he has that power to bring you back to life. All right. So, Khan. But yeah, you got it, King. Or unless you got another point, precept. Oh, you on mute.
Khan, Salakia. I was just saying, I do have a point. That's why in John chapter 6 and verse 63, if I'm not mistaken, that he was called a quickening spirit, man. He quickens you from the dead. But that's all I had, though. Oh, you already got it pulled up. You might as well just read it.
All right, Khan. Yep. This is John 6 and 63. It says, it is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life.
You see that? So the Lord, he speaks unto us with his word and quickens our spirit from the dead. Now we're no longer in our trespasses. We're quickened, and now we have life through him, because he's that resurrection. That's why in John chapter 5, he gave you a twofold resurrection, a spiritual resurrection and a physical resurrection. Let me just go ahead and get that. Let me stop paraphrasing, man.
Now I got to preach that to you.
Come on. It's John chapter 5 and verse 25, and it reads, verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is, when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they that hear shall live. Now, this is talking about on a spiritual level. When Yahushua was walking on earth, he was resurrecting people in his spirit, telling them to repent, keep the commandments, and resurrecting your spirit to life, man. Right? Verse 26, for as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given this to the Son to have life in himself, and hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Going to the latter days when the Lord make his second coming, he's going to give a voice of the archangel, like it says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, and the dead shall rise first, right? So he gave you two-fold resurrections. One-fold resurrection is you repenting and keep the commandments, and you burying that old man, like the brother said. That's a one-fold, that's a spiritual resurrection. Then you have the physical resurrection, and when the Lord comes back, and everybody who died, whether you died in the Lord believing or you was wicked, everybody's going to come from the ground back to life, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt, paraphrasing like it says in Daniel 12 and verse 2, you know?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Khan. That's right. That's right. It's like, did you also quote Ephesians 2?
La.
Oh, okay, Khan. Yep. And Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1 also says that as well. Lines up exactly what the brother is saying. It says, and you have he quickened. Meaning what? Quickened meaning has made alive, right? Who were dead in trespasses and sins. That's why we were dead in the world, through trespasses and sins, because that's how death came into the world. Through what? Sin. All right. So like I'm gonna get a quick precept as well. Psalms chapter 119, verse 93. I will never forget thy precepts, for with them thou hast quickened me, man. Hey, that precept is fire, bro. I will never forget thy precepts, because with these precepts, that's how we're made alive, man. All right, with these precepts, and that lines up exactly with other That's crazy, man. That's crazy. It lines up exactly with John chapter 6 verse 63. So why are we saying that this Bible is fake, man? Why are we saying that? Because you literally have Psalm chapter 119 verse 93 lines up beautifully with Ephesians 2, John chapter 5 verse 25, John 11, right? All these precepts, John 6 and verse 63. So, but we can go back to that.
This book of First Peter, chapter 1 and verse 4, and it reads, "To an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you,
Mm-hmm.
who are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time."
Yeah, So to inheritance incorruptible, undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you, man. And ultimately that's what we're trying to get to, the kingdom, the end of our faith, even the salvation of our souls, etc., man. Right? It says through faith unto salvation. And we have to have that faith to get that salvation too. That's Philippians chapter 3, verse 9, and be found in him, not having mine own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the faith of Mahashiach, the righteousness of God, which is by faith, man. That's written, So we have to have faith in order to get the kingdom of heaven. It says, "We are kept by the power of God through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time." And we're living in the last times. We're living in the end days. We're living during the time of the day of the Lord. Wakan, you got it, King.
Verse 6, "Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations."
Yeah, So we greatly rejoice, because in this truth, so like I'm gonna get this quick precept, man, on that. Hey, this truth is a whirlpool of emotions, afflictions. You're happy one day, you're sad the other day. It's you're gonna go through a whirlpool of emotions and feelings and all this other stuff, right? It's 2 Corinthians chapter 6, and see that, right? 6 and verse 4. "But in all things approving ourselves as the ministers of God, in much patience and afflictions and necessities and distresses and stripes and imprisonments and tumults and labors and watchings and fastings," right? So like I'm gonna keep hey, that's what Paul was going through, and the apostles, right? But it's like I'm gonna skip down, right? Okay, yep, right here, right? Verse 9, "As unknown and yet well known," meaning what? Because we're unknown, right? You still have people out there, they don't know about W5. I'm not saying W5 is, huge camp. I'm saying like they don't know about the Hebrew Israelites, period. You still have some of our people, they don't even know about the Hebrew Israelites. That's why we have to be out there. That's why we have to be out putting out videos, flooding the internet, flooding the streets, passing out flags, because there's people, Israelites out there that still don't know about this. So as unknown, because I always think about, man, I'm like walking outside, people, holding the door, not saying that they shouldn't do that, but I'm saying like, if you really knew what I was about, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, people don't know what the Frenches are about. As unknown, we're still unknown, man. I'm like, people, they still asking about the fringes. I'm like, so you haven't seen anybody with, no, they haven't seen anybody with the fringes. So we're still unknown to this world. But on the other hand, and yet well known, because in certain parts, certain areas, you have a lot of our people that still do know about the Israelites. On the other hand, so it's a just balance, right? As dying and behold we live, as chastened and not killed, as sorrowful. So we're sorrowful, man. We're walking in godly sorrow. We're in the house of we're not in the house of myrrh, we're in the house of mourning. You understand? It says, yet always rejoicing. But on the other hand, we're always rejoicing because we're in this truth. The Lord said, we count them happy which endure. Blessed is man that findeth obtaineth with wisdom, that findeth wisdom, you know, or happy is the man that getteth wisdom, right? It says what? As poor yet making many rich, as having nothing and yet possessing all things. So this truth is a just balance, you know. But you got it, King.
Come. And like Peter's saying, in order to get this inheritance,
Yep.
you might have to go through meaningful temptations.
Right.
Even Acts 14 verse 22, the great tribulation shall you get the kingdom of the Most High God, man. You have to go through it in order to get the kingdom of heaven. This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 7, getting straight to the point. Verse 9, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance, man? So if you never go through anything, how do you expect to get that inheritance, which is the kingdom of heaven? That's a promise given to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob unto you, man. But if you're not going through hell, going through that fire, getting tried, being proven, you really think you're having the best day of your life every day. You're always in the spirit. Satan's never attacking you. How do you expect to get the kingdom of heaven? The Lord never proved you. I want to get that classic real quick. Acts 14, verse 22. And it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High God. So that's your license, for lack of better terms. The same, if you want to go out the country, you need a passport. If you want to drive, you need a license. If you want to get into a club, you might have to be a certain age. You want to get alcohol beverages, might have to be a certain age. Same thing with the kingdom of heaven. You need a requirement. What's that requirement? Tribulation, affliction, anguish, hell, being proven, going through the fire. If the Lord doesn't see that what's called that certification, I guess you can say, then you're not gonna get the kingdom, man. You have to be tried in order to get that thing, and you have to come out and you have to you have to endure it as well. Because some people, they might go through it, they might wax faint, they fall away. It's good for nothing. And some people, guess what, they go through it and they endure to the end. And Lord willing, we're the vessels of mercy that endures unto the end. But you got it, King.
That's right. That's right, man. Yeah, so you have to go through those painful temptations. And like my internet's a little bad, huh?
Yeah, you choppy.
Damn. All right, so I'm gonna try to come back in.
Why he's doing that? Get another precept. I want to go to Wisdom of Solomon, because even the Lord said, will be received as a burnt offering. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, and verse 5. And it reads, I'll start verse 4. And it reads, for though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. So when you're at the workplace, you're at these public places, you may be punished in sight of men. Your car getting repoed in front of everybody. You get jumped on the highways and byways. They kicking your stomach in. You start coughing up blood. You're going through hell, man. You get evicted at your house. All hell is breaking loose. It's like you catching hell, to the point where even the heathen say, are you okay? It seems like you're going through it. Are you okay, sir? I'm fine. Get off of me. Right? That's how much hell you're going through it. When the heathen have those spiritual glasses to even see that you're going through hell. That's how you know you're going through the fire. But guess what? Within, your hope is full of
It's like I can't hear you. That's crazy. I can't hear. I don't think they can hear you. Damn. It's lucky.
Was I on mute this whole time? Say it, man.
All right, Con.
You back.
All right, Con. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. But
was I on mute this whole time?
Not a lot. Like the audio just had cut out. So you was going, but then the audio had cut out for when I came in. So I don't know.
Satan, man.
So
God.
yeah, it's Satan, man. But yeah, man, we're going to continue with the words of the Lord, man. Right. But yeah, Khan. Yeah, so we can go back to that, man.
This is a book of which the brother put 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7, and it reads that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua Mashiach.
Yeah, Khan. So it says the trial of your faith. We're being put on trial right now, man. Every day we wake up in this truth, we're being put on trial, you know. And so it's the trial about, of our faith, because that's why, and that's why I'll always stress faith. Like, we need faith, man. That's how we can run in this society. That's our gas, man. Faith. That's what's going to keep you going in Jacob's trouble. That's what's going to keep you going in this world. That's what's going to keep you to endure all things is your faith. The man that has twice as much faith as Peter, twice as much faith as Abraham, et cetera, et cetera. That man is going to get the kingdom because he's counted worthy. He's counted faithful before the Lord. So it says that the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perisheth. Because gold at the end of the day is precious, but it perishes. You can throw gold in the furnace and cook it and burn it enough, put it to a certain temperature, and it's going to wither away. The gold that you have on your wrist, though it may take hundreds of years to decompose, it's going to decompose, though. It's nothing, man. Though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahweh Shemashia. So we have to be tried with fire, man. Through this trial, we had to be tried through fire. Let me get this precept. It's the book of Job. All right. I believe this is what I want. Job chapter 23, verse 10. But he knoweth the way that I take. The Most High knows the path that you're taking. He knows what you're doing and at what time you're doing it, the way that you want to go through. But he knoweth the way that I take. The Lord knows the way that you take. When he had tried me, I shall come forth as gold. So that's how confident Job was. I'm not going to break. I'm not going to fold. Right? Even in verse 12, it says, neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. So Job was like, neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips, man. I have not gone back. I'm not going to backslide. I'm not going to listen to my wife, which said, curse the Most High and die. I'm going to keep and retain my integrity, man. That's how confident Job was. That's how much faith he had and confidence. Because with faith comes confidence. If you believed in your heart and had not a doubt in your heart, you can do all things. Literally. It's because of doubt. It's because that lack of faith do we actually err. If you had hella faith and you could damn near see the angels, that's how much faith you have. You can damn near see the angels. You're like, yeah, I know an angel right there. I know Yahweh Shai is literally right here. You can be walking like this. If you literally have faith that, you're the hopeful elect, or, that you're a servant of the Lord, therefore the Lord is going to protect you at all times. If you had that kind of faith, you're going to be walking like this, You're going to be walking with so much confidence. So that's why we need faith, man, because we're going to be put on trial. We're going to be put to the test. We're going to be put through that furnace. And it's only through that furnace because whenever you do something, let's say you even working out, right? You're bench pressing, you're doing squats, your legs are burning, right? Let's say you're running, running for miles upon end, can't breathe, lungs are collapsing, feet hurt, legs hurt, you just want to stop. But you said to yourself, you're going to run 5 miles without stopping today. So even though you be put into that fire, where does it come? It comes with, it's really mental at that point. It's mental. Do you want it or not? Do you want to do it or not? So that's what it boils down to, What kind you got a king?
Yeah, faith is very, very important, man, because without faith, you really wouldn't be keeping the commandments like that, man. Without faith, you wouldn't be doing certain things that you would be doing right now. Without faith, you wouldn't be in this truth. You know, this Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's what faith is. Having hope in something that you can't see. You have hope in the Most High God. You have hope in Yahweh. Now it tells you in 2nd Esdras chapter 1, you never seen Yahweh with bodily eyes. But guess what? You believe in your spirit that he is real. That he will come and save you, man. That's what faith is. And the Lord's trying that faith every day to see do you really believe or not, man. Some people are crept in unawares who don't really believe in Yahweh. They might just be in this truth to get females, to be seen of men, to have the best rap career, to be somebody, to it's not sincere, man. And the Lord tries them. That's why they wither away. Then you have those men who are sincere in this thing, who really do have faith, who knows Yahweh is real, who knows the Most High God is real, knows that Yahweh will come back and save them. And then guess what? Their works prove that too. This is the book of Romans, chapter 4 and verse 4. Slakia, Romans 4 and verse 3, and it reads, For what saith the scripture? Abraham believed God, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. Because Abraham showed his faith by what? By his works. By doing what? Circumcising his child Isaac, or it's like Ishmael, circumcising Ishmael, if I'm not mistaken. He he put Isaac on the altar, but they killed him, huh? So Abraham showed his faith because he believed in the Most High God. He believed in Yahweh. So guess what? As Abraham was tried, we're going to be tried to see whether we believe or not, man. And Lord willing, we do keep that same integrity within us, that same faith that we know we know that Yahweh is real. But
Yeah, Khan, that's right. And to link up what the brother was saying in Deuteronomy 8 and 2, that's why it says this. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. See that? So that's why the Lord had to prove our forefathers that were in the wilderness, and he had to put them through the fire to see if they would keep the commandments or no. If they were going to be wicked or they were actually going to listen. All right. So that's why the Lord did that. All right. And really, being put through the fire, hey, it humbles you, man. Because it says in verse 3, and he humbled thee. You see that? And suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna. That's how you humble somebody, man. Because remember, even when you go to that Psalms, I believe it's like, let me get this precept, Psalms 35, right? And verse, Psalms 35 and 13. It says, But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth, I humbled my soul with fasting. So that's how you humble yourself. Because when you're fasting, let's say you fast for 2 days, are you walking around high and mighty? You're not walking around high and mighty, man. Because you're hungry as hell. You're not proud. You don't even have enough energy to exert, your proudness and your pride, man. It says, I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into my own bosom. So that's why the Lord, he says, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. You see that? So, but Khan, we go back to that though. So,
First Peter.
Oh, it's a lot.
Okay, you guys luck.
Oh, it's like, no, I was just saying, yep. So that we brought those precepts out to just break this precept down, that we had to be we had to be put on trial. But
First Peter chapter 1 and verse 8. Whom having not seen ye love, and whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory.
This precept is very, very fire. And, this precept, because here's the thing, right? It says what? Whom having not seen ye love. Who is that talking about? We haven't seen Yahweh in the flesh, man. Neither in the spirit. We haven't seen Yahweh. Hey, Ahbayah, have you seen Yahweh?
La'ah.
La'ah. We haven't seen him, man. Yet we love the Lord, man. We're trying our best to love the Lord every day. It says, whom having not seen, ye love. The Lord say, if you love me, keep my commandments. Is that not what we do, man? Is that not what we strive to do every day, right? That's how we prove that we love the Lord. And it says, whom having not seen, ye love. We literally, we want to put it plain upon tables. We're loving a man that we have not even seen. You know, we don't know what he smells like. Not that we, it's utmost importance, but I'm just saying, you love your dad, but you can see your dad, man. You can touch him, you can dab him up. You say, what's going on? You can say, you want to go eat somewhere, or you can ask your dad questions. The Lord said, ask thy father and he shall tell thee, right? But you can take a picture of that. Can we do those things with Yahweh? But yet we still love Yahweh. You can see your wife. You can touch her. You can feel her, right? You can talk with her, commune with her. But we can't do those same things with Yahweh, but we still love her. And that shows you the power of the Lord, man. That shows you that he gave us faith. Because we believe his words, yet we haven't even seen them with bodily eyes, like the Ahbayah brought out in 2 Ezra chapter 1. It says, whom have you not seen, ye love, and whom, though ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory. We're in this truth, man. Reading, praying, fasting, having that zeal for the Lord, yet we can't even see the Lord, but we believe that he is. That shows you the power of the Lord, man. That shows you the power of the Most High, right? Receiving, it's like, I'm just reading verse 9. Receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. And that's the end of our faith. That's the end of all of this, the salvation of our souls. That's the end all be all, the salvation, man. Right? But Con, you got the king.
Con, just want to get the other precept, and that's the spirit, because I quoted it. I didn't know that was the next verse. The 2 Ezra chapter 1 and verse 37, and it reads, I take to witness the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness, and though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say. You see that? So we never seen the Lord with bodily eyes, man. But guess what? We believe everything that he says. We know when he says he's going to come back to save his people. We believe that, man. We believe the things that we read, man. Right? That he died for our sins. We believe that he's going to come back with destruction.
Mm-hmm.
We believe all these different things that he has promises laid up. He has all this, the kingdom of heaven laid up for us, man. We believe all that. Now, why do we believe? Now, if a crackhead told you something, guess what? Would you believe it? No. If someone says something, guess what? You might not believe it. You might, I guess I got to see for myself. The Lord, he didn't show no signs to us, man. We just believe. It's just in our spirit. That's the Holy Spirit bearing witness with that, man. Because not everybody can bear witness to the Most High God, his son Yahushua. AKA, you have the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Herodians. You have all these wicked men who bucked up against the Lord. And they saw the Lord with their eyes. But guess what? We never seen the Lord with our bodily eyes, man. But guess what? We believe. Because it's the spirit. But come.
Con, that's right. Even in verse 35 says, which have not heard of me, yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. It's like I'm gonna get this precept too in Isaiah. I was reading Isaiah, the brother, kind of stay in Isaiah. Right. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 51. All right, Isaiah 51 and Slacky, right? Yeah. Right, this is Isaiah 51 verse 9. It says, awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord. Awake, as in the ancient days, in the generations of old, art thou not it that have cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Art thou not it that have Slacky, which have dried the sea? So the Lord, he did these things. He dried up the sea. You can read that in the book of Exodus. All right, I believe 13, 14, 15 chapter. All right. The waters of the great deep that have made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over. Yeah, so Khan, that's it on that's all I wanted on that. But the Lord, he did all these signs, he did all those wonders. He dried up the sea, you know, he did a lot of mighty acts. In as much that you read the book of Numbers, it says there's a book of the wars of the Lord, you know. There's a whole book dedicated to the wars of the Lord, you know, and his mighty acts, right? That you can't even Salaki. I'm gonna get this precept in Ecclesiastes as well. I believe this is Ecclesiastes 3 though, right? Uh, right. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 11. God, all praises. He have made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he have set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. So you can't even number, or it's like you can't even you can't number. Neither can you know everything that the Lord has done from the beginning to the end. You can't. It's impossible, right? Because the Lord, he does all things. I'm gonna go to the book of Isaiah chapter 65 as well. It's Isaiah chapter 65 verse 1. I am sought of them that asked not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold, behold me. Behold me unto a nation that was not called by my name. You see that? So that, who is that talking about? That's talking about us, right? You know, that's talking about the men and the women that the Lord has been calling, right? In these last days, because guess what? Just like how the Lord, how we've been going through, we're called strangers to the Lord, and that's why He's saying, "I am found in them that sought me not," because we didn't seek the Lord. The Lord, He chose us, and then now we start seeking Him. You know, but just another precept to kind of go into that, right? But
Con. First Peter chapter 1, verse 9, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls.
Yep, that's the NLB. You got it.
Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that shall come unto you.
Yakan, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently. You see that? And the prophets, they prophesied of the grace that shall come to us. Who is the grace of that's it's like, who is the grace that should come onto us talking about? Right? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 1, verse 17. John chapter 1, verse 17. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahweh Shah Mahashiach. So the prophets literally prophesied about Yahweh Shah dying for us. That's in Isaiah, you know, that's in Jeremiah, that's in Hosea, that's in literally a lot of prophets, man. Even Salaki Abraham even knew about Yahweh Shah dying for the nation of Israel. Moses, you know, all these mighty prophets, they knew about Yahweh Shah coming upon the earth and dying for us. That's Job, even Job 19 in verse 25 on down, I believe. You know, for I know that my Redeemer liveth when he shall stand upon the earth in the latter days. Lucky. Let me see if that's what I want. Job chapter 19. Yeah, Job chapter 19, verse 25. All praises. It says, I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. So even Job, who was one of the earliest prophets, he knew that Yahweh Shah was going to come and redeem his people, man. But Khan, you got it, K.
Yeah, I don't have no precept on that. There is a precept in the Gospels. I'm trying to look for it. But basically, Yahweh Shah said, you know, man, they wish they could see the things that y'all see. And, you know, they have and stuff like that. You know, talking about these prophets, they want to see the Lord, man.
Yeah, Khan.
You know? But Khan, that's all though.
Yeah, that's Matthew 13.
Is it Matthew 13?
Yep. Khan, yep. That's right.
Let me get that real quick. Matthew chapter 13. Bear with me.
Verse 16.
Come. Matthew chapter 13, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. And when you really think about it, that's deep, even seeing Yahweh Shah in general, man. And that's like the main event of the whole, well, one of the main events, man, that ever happened. Seeing Yahweh Shah hear him speak, see him teach. Hey man, I wish. Hey man, that's an amazing thing to see. I want to know how he walked, his leadership, what he did, stuff like that. What made him smile, stuff like that, man. Seeing how he speak, and just seeing him for him, that's amazing. And a lot of prophets, they prophesied about him, man. They wanted to see the Lord. But guess what? Not everyone, saw the Lord. But the Lord said, "Blessed are your eyes, for they see." I want to keep going though. Verse 17. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them. Imagine you seeing Yahweh heal people, man. Healing the dude with the withered arm. His arm just coming right back. That's a miracle right there. Giving what's called giving sight to the blind, letting the deaf hear, seeing all these different miracles, man. That's amazing, man. But guess what? The people who did see it, they were stiff-necked and stiff-hearted. They didn't care about the signs. They kept wanting to see more and more and more, but they still didn't believe, man. That shows you who has faith, which are the prophets. They never seen the Lord, but they have faith. And it was very bold and zealous. So the people in the time of Yahweh, they saw the Lord, and guess what? They didn't believe. But
Yep, that's right. They even believe in the signs, man. But even, you do have that just balance too, because it says, and many believed on him there in John chapter 12, verse 19, in the whole, it says the world goes after him, man. Right. So you got a lot of Israelites that did believe in the sign. Then you also had a lot of Israelites that didn't believe in the signs, even though they didn't see them with bodily eyes, man. And that just goes back to, even the generation that didn't believe in the Lord, in the wilderness with Moses, they seen all the signs, yet they didn't even believe in the Lord. And when you read Joshua and read Deuteronomy, the men, only Joshua and Caleb made it out for real. Only Joshua and Caleb that made it out, that were in the wilderness with Moses, made it out. And the children were saved, right? But the men and women that actually came out of Egypt, they didn't get delivered, right? So, and they were destroyed in the wilderness because of their unbelief, right? So when you actually go into that, and the Lord actually talks about how even though they haven't seen the signs of Egypt, even though they haven't seen the signs of Egypt, they have only heard of them, yet they actually are better than their forefathers, which actually seen the wonders of Egypt, but they have not kept the commandments. They still didn't believe, right? They still lacked faith. So there are children that didn't see it, but they only heard about it. They even believe in the Lord more than them. So, that just shows you that that kind of that's how the Lord works. And that goes back also to 1 Corinthians, the first chapter. The Lord had chosen the foolish things of the world, man. But yeah, we can keep going in that.
First Peter chapter 1, verse 11. Searching what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Christ and the glory that shall follow.
Yeah, so that's all up in Isaiah, all up in the prophets. They prophesied about that, the sufferings of Mahashiach Yahushua, what he had to go through, and the glory of Yahushua that followed after that. All right, you got it.
Verse 12. To whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us, they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into.
The angels even desire to look into this thing. Even the angels, they're sitting on the edge of the seat, like, what's going on? Because remember, the angels, don't think that they're like the Most High. Like, they know everything that's going to happen. Only the Lord knows that, man. There's even things that Yahushua doesn't know, right? So with that in mind, right, the angels, they look into it, because when we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9, it says that we were made a spectacle unto the world, right? Let's get this precept. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9, right? It says, "For I think that God hath set us forth the apostles last, as it were it's like appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world and to angels and to men. So we were made a spectacle unto the world and to angels and to men. All right. So we're made a spectacle unto all of them. Even the angels, they look at it. That's why when you go to the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 10 on down, there is rejoicing in the heavens over one sinner that repenteth. Even the angels, man, they turn up in the heavens, when a sinner repents. And so even on the left hand side, the left hand angels, they rejoice when a man goes off and does wickedly, forsakes the Lord. They turn up in that. So the angels, they even desire to look into this gospel, into this glorious gospel that the Lord has given us. But Khan, you got it, King.
I also want to get the NLT translation.
Mm-hmm.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 12 in the NLT translation. They were told that their messages were not for themselves, but for you. And now this good news has been announced to you by those who preached in the power of the Holy Spirit sent from heaven. It is all so wonderful that even the angels are eagerly watching these things happen. So these angels, you and the angel, they're on the same accord. You really think about it, because they don't know everything. And let me get a precept real quick. Even when you read Second Address, I forget where it's at, but what's it called? Let me see if I can get it real quick. There we go. Second Address chapter 4. I'll start verse 51, and it reads, Then I prayed and said, May I live, thinkest thou until that time, or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, As for the tokens whereof thou askest me, I may tell thee of them in part, but as touching thy life, I am not sent to show thee, for I do not know it. You see that? So even prophecy, they can only touch on certain things in part. Same thing with us. In prophecy, we only touch on certain things in part. Like the kingdom of heaven, we can only touch on it in part. We can't go in depthly into it. Same thing with the angels. The angels didn't even know the law of Esdras, man. If you're gonna, make it or not, stuff like that, or his latter end. So just appreciate it, but
Yeah, Khan, that's right. Yup, that's right. Because even if they're angels, doesn't mean that they know everything. Because remember, angel essentially also means messenger. Does a messenger know the damn everything, why the message is being delivered, or the messenger is only delivering the message. That's it. So they may know the message, but they don't know why, certain things. They don't know. You asking questions that's not part of the message, they don't know that. Like they only know what's in the message. If you got ears to hear, they only know certain things. That's why even in Revelation chapter 19 verse 10 it says this, right? Revelation chapter 19 verse 10, it says, And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. See that? So the angels, they said, hey, don't even worship to fall. Don't worship me. Don't fall to your knees and worship me, because I'm nothing, right? I'm just your fellow servant and of thy brethren, right? That have the testimony of Yahushua, worship the Most High. For the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. All right. So yeah, they desire to look into this because they're eagerly seeing and trying to understand, or trying to watch to see what's going to happen. All right. That's why the Lord made it like a movie. But Khan, you got it, King.
Yep. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13. Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach.
Khan, it says, wherefore gird up your loins. It's like gird up the loins of your mind. Be sober and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach. So we have to gird up the loins of our mind. Back then, you can actually gird up your loins. And we have to gird up the loins of our mind in these last days and be sober. Because that's who Satan is coming after. Our mind, our spirit, if he can get into the mind, guess what? He has overcome you. And now you're going to commit that sin, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to gird up the loins of our mind. All right. Get this slacky real quick. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Sometimes the apostles, they kind of repeat themselves. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it says, be sober, be vigilant. So we have to be sober, be vigilant. That's on the physical and spiritual level. Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. What kind you got it, King?
On this second Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 14. Let go from the immortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature, man. So when you look at these prophets, the Lord is always speaking through the prophets saying, man, put off this weak nature. Cast away those mortal thoughts. You're thinking about how I'm going to pay this bill, how am I going to do this, teaching, reading, what's it called? You just stressed out for no reason. The Lord said, cast that off and gird up your mind, man. Be strong in your mind. Our forefathers, they had a great mental. Their mental strength was very, very strong, and stuff like that. To be able to go to war, to be able to, serve the Lord with your whole heart, they had a great mind, man. But now people's mind nowadays are weak due to all the demons they entertain, the food they eat. People's mind are very unhealthy. It's very negative. Have a positive mind, man, in these last days, because your mind is like a battery. If your battery is jacked up, it got acid all on it, it got smoke just coming up and stuff like that. Your car damn near it's about to blow up, man. Without that battery, your car is done. You can't drive no more. That's what same thing with your mind, man. Without that battery, you're done for. They call it brain dead. You brain dead in this thing. Man, gird up your mind. Man, get your spirit right. For Yasharala, for myself, for anyone who's watching this, we gotta gird our mind, man. But come on.
That's right. That's right. And that's expedient to do so. Can't be like, well, that's Peter, so it's not the law, brother. But man. Hey, these things is expedient. Gird up the loins of your mind. All right. And be sober. We drinking 10 bottles of wine and now you trying to now you're like, hey, it's time to be on fire. And you think to read the whole book of Revelation. But you just come on, brother. You just took 10 shots. Think you're gonna finish it. Right. Right. We have to be sober, man. Right. Or now you ready. It's the feast day, it's the new moon, getting together in righteousness. And you brought like 5 bottles of wine. You brought like 5 bottles of wine, and there's only 10 brothers there. It's only 10 brothers, and you brought 5 bottles of wine. What are you doing, man? And then pouring up. Now you ready to. Now you drank. I don't even know how many glasses. I don't know how many glasses of shots that you drank, but now you ready to fight. You ready to fight somebody at the new moon, right? So it's not expedient for us to not be sober in these last days, because Satan, he's walking about to and fro, ready to devour us. So we have to be vigilant. We have to be sober. We have to be in our right mind. What kind you got to care.
First Peter, chapter 1, verse 14. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance.
Yeah, as obedient children, we're not fashioning ourselves according to the former lust, because we all have former lusts, all right? But that's basically, in this truth, we have to always constantly put off that old man and put off that old woman, right? But you got it.
Verse 15. But as he which have called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
And where's Peter getting that from? See that? Christians, they say because it is written. You just skip over that, bro. You can't just skip over. Where is Peter getting this from? Be holy, for I am holy. Is it written in the Quran somewhere? Where is it written? Let's go to it. All right. Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20. It's like Leviticus chapter 20. and verse verse 26. It says what? And ye shall be holy unto me, for I Yahweh am holy, and has severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. So the Lord said, ye shall be holy unto me, because I am holy, man. Yahweh Bashan, Yahweh Shah, I'm holy. And that's what the Lord said, man. And how are we holy unto the Lord? He gave us set apart laws. That's how we're holy. All right. That's how we're holy. That's what sets us from other people. Keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. I'm gonna get this quick precept. We have diverse laws from all other people. Let me get this precept. Right. We're not like the other nations, and we shouldn't strive to be like the other nations either. This is the book of Esther, chapter 13 and verse 4. And declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward. So that certain malicious people who had laws contrary to all nations, that's going into the Israelites, because we have laws and customs that's contrary to all these other nations and kingdoms upon the earth, which sets us apart, which makes us holy from all other nations, because the Lord said he has severed us from other people, like a severed head. If you have a severed head, that means that you literally cut this head off from the body, all right, from the torso, from the, yes, like from the body. So if you cut somebody's head off, right, that's like how the Lord did to us, right? That's how the Lord did to us and the other nations. He got the nations over here, he cut us off, he brought us over here, you know. And so we're that holy and set apart nation. What kind you got it, King?
I had this precept in mind. I forgot what I was thinking about. That's the Lord, though. But Khan, that's right, though.
Hey, Khan, that's right. So, yeah.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 17, and it reads, and if you call on the Father, so like at First Peter chapter 1 and verse 17, and if you call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
Yeah, so, Salaki, it says, if you call on the Father, who without respect of persons judges every man according to Salaki, judges to every man's work. Yeah, so the Lord, he judges to every man's work. All right. Just a quick piece of Revelation chapter 22, right, verse 12. And behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So the Lord, he judges according to every man's work. If your works don't matter, then why is Peter saying that? Like if your works don't matter, then why is Peter saying that? Why is that scripture still there? Why is the Lord saying that he's going to judge according to every man's work in the last book of the Bible, in the last page of the Bible? Why is he saying that? Your works do matter. What you do matters, man, to the Lord. All right. It says, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. What does it mean to sojourn? Because we're just sojourning here in America, in Babylon the Great. It's not our rest. Stay somewhere temporarily. This precept is fire, man. Because we are not, this shows you that this is not our rest. Because we are here sojourning in Egypt. We're a sojourner, right? We are staying here temporarily, and Lord willing, the Lord delivers us up so we can be in the kingdom forever and just here temporarily. Like this is like for a prison, for example. Nobody is in a prison forever in eternity. You have a certain set amount of time, and after that time, you're out. Unless you're serving life, of course. But the Lord didn't say that we're going to serve life. The Lord said we're going to be here in Babylon the Great in this world for a certain period of time, and after that, we will be released. The Lord said in Isaiah 51 and verse 14, right? I believe that's what I wanted. Oh yeah, but it said, the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loose from the pit, and that his bread should not fail. So the captive, he hastens so that he may be loosed, because he wants to get out of that prison. You know, that's pursuing also is Zechariah the 9th chapter 12 verse. You know, the prisoners of hope. You know, because we hope that we can get out of here. You know, we hope that we can get out of here because we are staying here temporarily, not permanently. You know, what kind you got it, King?
Yeah, that's Hebrews 13 verse 14, and it reads,
Mm-hmm.
"For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come." And that's plain upon tables, man. This is not our continuing city. We will not be here for hundreds of more years, man. This is not our homeland. Our homeland is Mount Zion, Jerusalem, Israel, man. Where the heathen are, man. They're gonna be cast out of Israel, and we're gonna live there forever. We will no more be pilgrims. We will no more be sojourners. We will actually have a home forever. And that's deep if you really think about it, because we only had a home for not that long. Then we always got kicked out of our home. But we're always pilgrims, man. Even David was a pilgrim in his own land, going from wilderness to wilderness, man. It's like we can't get no rest until the kingdom of heaven, you know. Then to touch on the part with the works, wherever you put in, that's what you're gonna get out, or wherever you put out, that's what you're gonna get. Paraphrasing, man. If you're on fire, you're doing everything you can to magnify the name of the Lord. You're gonna get a fire reward. When you slothful, you lazy, don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. You do something halfway, lukewarm with it, then guess what? You're gonna get the same reward, man. The Lord's not gonna give you something. You're not gonna do something, and the Lord gives you much more than what you did. Because the
Right.
Lord, He's righteous. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and let me see, Matthew 25 and verse 21. I'll start. Yeah, 21. His Lord sent to him, Matthew 25 and verse 23. That's what I want. I can't. I'm tripping right now. My bad. It's Matthew chapter 25 and 20, and it reads, "And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more." So this man with 5 talents, man, he had 5 talents, then he flipped it, then he doubled that. He was on fire. Verse 21, his Lord said to him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. You see that? So, he was on fire. He did what he had to do. The Lord gave him his reward, and so on and so forth. But
Yep. Hey, that's right. And the Lord even because you can see that even in the world, man. Right? The Lord, He gives you according to every man's work. Like the man that's always in the gym, bro. Like you have men that's on fire in the world, man. They're just on fire with the workouts, man. They eat, live, sleep workouts. Just like how we try to live in this thing. The Lord says, the Lord says that He, right? Salaki, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 13, it says, Salaki. Yeah, come. It says, Do ye not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple, and they wait at the altar are partakers, and they that which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar. Even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. So that's what the Lord said. If you preach the gospel, you gotta live of the gospel, man. And we trying to live in this thing, man. The Lord said you should keep the commandments, that you should live in them, that a man that doeth them shall even live in them. We're trying to live this life, man. Right? We eat, sleep, drink the truth, Yahweh. That's how we brushing our teeth, we think about the Lord, think about the video. You know what I'm saying? AirPods, we're not listening to Drake.
Right.
You're not listening to Drake, man. All right, we listen to it, Clubhouse, then YouTube, listen to edification of audio Bible, in the car, we talk about it. So we just we just obsessed in this thing, man. Addicted ourselves to the ministry of the saints, man. We wake up, we praying to the Lord, go to sleep praying to the Lord, etc., etc. But you have men in the world that's doing that same exact thing, but for the world though. So working out, man. they watching videos. They, like how we, like when I eat, I like to watch debates. You know, I like to watch debates. Get that even more edification, man. Even more edification. So it's like, people in the world, they're eating, and they're watching damn ways to kind of, I don't know, how to do certain things like working out. Like that's what they do, man. They're getting their diet right, they're running, they're making sure they're diligent in all those things, man. I know this dude, he's on fire in hurdling. He's just obsessed with it, and that's all he posts on his Instagram. That's all on his page is just track and field. That's it. Just track and field. Track and field, track and field. That's always running through his head every day, man. You know? And I'm like, this man is just on fire with that. He just cares so much. He always talks about it. That's all he talks about. That's all he talks about. So I'm like, man, all right. All right. So I'm trying to be like that with the Lord, man. The 2 times is harder, man. But so these men that can do that for the world. So how much more us for the Lord, right? But right? So let's go back to that.
First Peter chapter 1 and verse 17. And if you call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. For as much as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers.
Yeah, we're not redeemed with corruptible things, right? That's not what the Lord. He didn't buy us with that. He didn't buy us with silver and gold and all those other things, right? What did he buy us with?
But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot.
I'm gonna get precept on that. Quick precept. It's 1 Corinthians 1:6 and this 1:7. For those already know, like I said. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 23. Ye are bought with a price. Be not ye the servants of men. Be the servants of Yahweh, essentially. Because what is that price? Peter says it. That price is that precious blood of the Lamb. All right? That's what the Lord bought us with. That's why we are Mahashiach servant. Because if the Lord, if you buy something, that's yours now. Because let's say I buy a heathen, as a slave, that's my slave now. He belongs to me. Right? If I buy a Bible, that's my Bible, man. It belongs to me. So et cetera, et cetera. So if you're bought with that price, if the Lord brought us, with that precious blood of the Lamb, that means we belong to the Lord now. But you got it, okay?
This Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 11. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. So when it says he purchased, he redeemed us. You know what I'm saying? With that blood, redeemed us back to the Father, the adoption, man. But precept,
That's right. Yeah, that's classic precept, yeah.
First Peter chapter 1 and verse 20. Who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you.
Again, foreordained before the foundation of the world. You can't get around that. It's no free will, man. Right? You got it.
Who by him do believe in God that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God.
And it see that? It says, so that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in the Most High. You see that? So it's all for the literally for the praising of the Most High at the end of the day. Right? So I got a quick precept on that. Yahweh, he didn't do that so that he can be praised and that everybody's gonna fall down to worship him, although everybody is. But at the end of the day, guess what? Yahweh, he's also humble. And he's gonna do this. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, In verse number 24, then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign till he have put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet. But when he saith all things are put under him, it is manifest that he is accepted, which did put all things under him. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that God may be all in all. By Shema Mashiach Yahushua, man. So what is that text saying? Why did I read that? Because it says, when all things shall be subdued unto him, talking about Yahushua, because everything's gonna be subject unto Yahushua, right? Then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him that put all things under him, that the Most High may be all in all. So that the Most High at the end of the day, he's going to be praised, right? Because even though everything's going to bow to Yahushua, Yahushua is going to bow to the Most High, the Supreme. Because without the Most High, you can do nothing. Without the power of the Lord, you can't do nothing, man. You know? So that's why it's all, I'm going back to that in First Peter, that's why it's all for the what? That your faith and hope might be in the Most High at the end of the day, right? But Khan, you got it.
It's John chapter 12. John 12 and verse 28. Father, glorify thy name. And there a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again.
Yeah.
Even Yahushua knew the mission, not to glorify his own name, but to glorify thy name. But Khan.
Yeah, Khan. Yep, that's a precept. Father, glorify thy name. See that? hey, Khan, hey, Salaki. When you go to, because that's the last precept we have brought out actually, for the camp. And when I read that precept like it was the last precept on earth, man. Like when I tell brothers, read this precept like it's the last scripture on earth. Read that precept like it's the last scripture on earth, man. What I mean by that? Just just read it out loud as loud as you can. I read that precept as loud as I can as a man speaking, man. And after that, I remember my voice was like a little strained, but it's all praises, man. Right? Because at the end of the day, I wish Father glorify that name, man. Right? So like,
that's right. Good. To the 12 verse 28. Glorify thy name. The Lord said, glorify thy name.
I read that precept like at the top of my lungs, man. Right? And that's not to praise me. I'm just saying, like, hey, we gotta do this thing. Get in here, man. Don't be reading the precept like you about to pass out. Right? You being a reader, nobody can hear you, man. Right? What the Lord said, cry aloud, spare it not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression in the house of Jacob, their sins. So, hey, all praise, man. Father, glorify thy name. But Khan, that's just a sidebar.
Khan, this book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 21. I read, who by him do believe in God, that raised him up from the dead, and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God.
Right.
Seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that you love one another with a pure heart fervently.
Yeah, Khan. So, unfeigned love of the brethren. Quickly, this word unfeigned means what? Genuine, sincere, because feigned means fake. So unfake meaning real, right? So genuine, sincere love, honest love, genuine love. Like, do you literally love this brother? Like, we have to ask ourselves that. That's moving in the fruits of the spirit. You can say that, oh, I love this brother. I love Ahbayah. That's my pro, or I love this brother. But you're not doing anything. You're not checking up on him. You know what I'm saying? You're not giving alms. You're not reading with them or anything like that. Hey, how do you love that brother? How are you showing that you love? So it's like this. It says the spirit It says on to unfeigned love of the brethren, because men, they actually might fake it, you know, they're not really down, you know, stuff like that. It says, see that you love one another with a pure heart fervently. So we have to strive to love one another with a pure heart fervently, you know, fervently mean on fire with it, you know, but you got it, King.
That's plain. You know, Paul touching on loving your brothers, as even Hebrews 13 and verse 1, you know, let brotherly love continue.
Yeah,
You gotta have that sincere love for one another, because it tells you, let me get that real quick. That's righteousness. You know, this book of Proverbs 14 and verse 34. Let me get that real quick. Proverbs 14 and verse 34. And it reads, righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. So when you love your brother, that's righteousness. So unity and brotherly love, guess what? That exalts a nation, man. You know?
Right.
But
that's right. Even when you go to Romans chapter 12, it says, in honor, preferring one another, you know, or see that you love one another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another. So we got to prefer one another, man. You know, even when you go to Romans chapter 13, verse 8, love is a fulfilling of the law. You know, you fulfill the law when you love one another. All right. So that's why we have to love one another with a pure heart fervently, because that's what Yahushua did, you know, in as much that he gave himself for the church. All right. But
First Peter chapter 1. Here. What verse?
23.
I count 23.
Mm-hmm.
Being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the word of God, which liveth and abideth forever.
Right. So we're being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible. Right. By the words of the Lord, which lives and abides forever. Because at the end of the day, the word of the Lord is going to abide forever. That's Matthew chapter 24, verse 31 and down. It says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall never pass away. All right. So, you got it, King.
Verse 24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away.
Right. So the grass is going to wither, which is Salaki. Where the grass withering and the flower withering away is also symbolic as well. Right. It says the grass withereth and the flower thereof fadeth away. Again, where's Peter getting this from? From the Old Testament, from Isaiah. All right. Just to keep that in mind. All right. But you got it.
Verse 25. But the word of the Lord endureth forever. This is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you.
But the word of the Lord endureth forever. So that's what endures forever, man. All these things that we see before our eyes, they're not going to last forever. My phone is not going to last forever. This computer is not going to last forever. That fan is not going to last forever. All this stuff that we see before our eyes is not going to last forever. But the word of the Lord is going to last forever. This truth, Yahushua, the kingdom of heaven. You know, that goes in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16 on that. Don't look at the things that's seen. Because the things that's seen is temporal. But the things that are not seen are internal, man. You know? But it says, and this is the word which by the gospel was preached unto you. So with that, all praises to Yahweh, by Shema Mashak, Wamalak Yahushua. All right, all praises to the Most High. We can bring our closing precepts at this moment. You know, that's been the First Peter chapter 1 breakdown, you know, through the Spirit, man. 2 hours and 8 minutes. And if that's how long it takes, that's how long it takes. Because we were going in depthly, bringing our precepts, making points, man. If we just read that all the way through, not giving the sense, just kind of scheming through it, yeah, you'll get the breakdown. But if somebody asks you this, what does that line mean? You know, or what does Peter mean when he says this? You can't really expound on it like that. But we try our best to expound on it as much as we can through the wisdom and knowledge that the Lord has bestowed upon us. All right. So, but you got it, King.
I want to get this precept how I'm feeling right now, man. Now, chapter 26, verse 40. and he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep, and said unto Peter, What? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. How to bring that on a physical level. Brother about to pass out on a video, man, on Zoom. I mean, not Zoom, stream. I don't know what's going on stream, y'all, man. That's madness.
Hey, God. Hey, that's right, man. I remember one time I actually did pass out, you know, and the brother had to call me. I woke back up. I was like, oh, damn, man. I'm actually on the live, you know. So, you know, and that's why we had to be put through that fire, man. But, you know, all praise to the Most High, the brother has endured the spirit, man. I'm going to get this precept, all right, because it's all for the nations, all for the Most High God at the end of the day. And the Lord is literally writing this stuff down, all right? I'm going to go to the book, all right? That's a lot. Let me get this one, all right? All right, I'm just get this one. All right, Revelation chapter 22 and verse number 10. And he said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. So it's expedient to go into prophecy, expedient to go into the law, etc., etc. Just expedient to break down the whole book, man. You know, and to read it because the time is at hand. Yahweh Shah is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The end of the world is at hand. All this stuff we're living in very, very dangerous times. All right, the gas price is high as hell, and you go to the store, everything's high as hell. You don't have the money for it, so we're living in very, very harsh times. So it's best for us to be on the Lord's good side at the end of the day, right? Verse number 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be, man. Right? So it's according to every man's work. So that all praises to Yahweh, by Shema Mashah, woman like Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, this is edifying. This is brother Yasharala.
Servant of Yahweh.
Come back to yet another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Shema Mashah, woman like Yahweh Shah. Right, Lord willing, this is edifying. Again, Kwame Yasharala. Shalom.